HIV, older age, so advanced disease will be there. Again, CD15, 30 positive and EBV also positive. 100% EBV positive. 15, 30 positive, EBV positive. So here, this is the Reed-Sternberg cell diagnostic, and these are the inflammatory cells, but they are few in numbers. Okay. So lymphocyte rich, containing more lymphocytes. Lymphocyte depleted, containing less lymphocytes, or depleted lymphocytes, and depleted will be more found in the HIV. Why? In HIV,
immune compromise.
Immune compromise, but reason. Others can also, immunodeficiency can give rise to other types of lymphomas also. But why HIV this one? Lymphocyte depleted. Giving you the hint also. What HIV does in the body? This is, this also Bagala Wala will also tell the same thing. He will tell you it is decreased immunity. So what is the difference? Tell me. Musa? No? Anyway. HIV is the, how of late, how you categorize the HIV patients, depending on the severity. CD helper cells. Because HIV destroys the helper cells. This is very important. I know it from last 25 years. You are in an age of net and you don't know, very bad. So it destroys the helper cells. So CD helper cells go down. This is why this is lymphocyte depleted. Got it? Lymphocyte depleted. This is the reason. So helper cells are destroyed by the HIV. So if you go for today's Saad, you will go Thamer, you will go see what will happen if the CD helper count goes below this level, there is a specific number. So what sort of infections below that level, what sort of lymphomas below that level, you will get it. So CD helper count. In HIV we do the CD helper count to see what is happening to the patient. If it is going down, prognosis is bad. CD helper cells are destroyed in the HIV. Lymphocyte predominant. We finished the classical. 4 varieties were there: nodular sclerosis, mixed cellularity, lymphocyte rich, and depleted. Okay. Only one. All are CD15, 30 positive. Only one is totally negative for the EBV. That is the nodular sclerosis. Good. And only one is totally positive. That is the lymphocyte depleted. Okay. Others are 40 and 70% positive for the EBV. But lymphocyte predominant, here is the difference between nodular sclerosis and this. It is negative for 15, 30 as well as the EBV. It is negative for all, 15, 30 EBV. But it is, how you will then say, it is positive for CD20. So this is the marker for it. Negative for these, 15, 30 EBV and positive for CD20. It is uncommon. Lymphocyte predominant means predominantly you will find the lymphocytes in the inflammation around this. And there is one important cell, again a variant of RS cell, which is called popcorn cell or lymphocyte, like a popcorn. You eat it, popcorns, like a popcorn it is, with polypoid nuclei inconspicuous. So this is the popcorn in the center, popcorn like. So here. So remember, in nodular sclerosis, you will find the lacunar cells. Clear? Lacunar cells. In lymphocyte predominant, you will find the lymphohistiocytic or popcorn cells. So this is important. Why I am telling you again? This is important. 15, 30 EBV, you should not miss. You should not miss the variants. Popcorn cells, lacunar cells. So this completes the Hodgkin lymphoma. No, to summarize the Hodgkin lymphoma. Classical and lymphocyte predominant, 2 types are there. All the classical are positive for CD15 and 30. Lymphocyte predominant is negative for these. And also the lymphocyte predominant is negative for EBV. But the others are positive excepting the nodular sclerosis, which is totally negative. And totally positive is lymphocyte depletion. And in the lymphocyte predominant, what is the marker you will use? CD20. Very good. So, in the nodular sclerosis, you have the lacunar variant of RS cell, and then in the predominant, you have the popcorn type of the cell. So this finishes the Hodgkin's. Is it clear?
Yes.
Now coming to the non-Hodgkin. Something I will not pressurize you because we have time afterwards also. So we'll see. I will leave you, in time so that you can get some rest. So, but we will. If some of the slides are remaining like 2, 3, we can finish it in the lab also. Lab is very small, so don't worry about it. Because there are no specimen also, so I cannot show you anything. Only one specimen is there, which I even cannot understand. So how I can make you understand? Huh? So I don't want to go downstairs for that. Huh? Got it? So etiopathogenesis of NHL. As I told you, in Hodgkin lymphoma, the most important thing is EBV infection. Okay, because many Hodgkin lymphoma you will find that. Even if it is not there, there will be some genetic alteration which will cause the NF-kappa B activation. Yes.
Yeah, you said already the most common is yes.
Yeah, I know you will ask the same thing. Nodular sclerosis is the most common, but I am saying from a pathogenetic point of view. Because in most of these you will find this infection. You will find this EBV infection. That's why I am saying to you that this is important in the pathogenesis because it will be formed in the 3 variants. Don't go for the overall perspective. Got it? Lymphocyte depleted, lymphocyte rich, as well as mixed cellular. So 3 variants it is definitely formed, and it has a definitive role in that. So in the etiopathogenesis of NHL, what is more important? Here the role of EBV may be there, but very less. Most important thing here is the genetic alteration. Genetic alteration in the gene rearrangements, translocations. Philadelphia chromosome in CML, got it? 922 translocation. So here also the translocations are very important. Gene rearrangements are important. Second is the infections like EBV, human T cell lymphotropic virus, and the Kaposi sarcoma herpes virus. These are the 3 infections which may cause some of the non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Then continuous antigenic stimulation due to H. pylori, due to HIV. Okay. Then the use of pesticides, herbicides, use of some drugs like like the phenytoin, we use it as an anti-epileptic drug, or immunosuppression due to immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, organ transplant. All these factors are there. But here the most important is the genetic factors, translocations and gene rearrangements. These are the chemicals which can cause benzene, other solvents. How much important? Medications also sometimes. So the most important is diffuse large B cell lymphoma. It can arise from the germinal center cells or post-germinal center cells, after the germinal center. Constitutes about 20% of all the non-Hodgkin, 20%. It may be nodal or extranodal. Can occur in the lymph node, but can occur outside also. Then median age, it occurs at an older age. 60 years of age is the median age for this. But 5% of childhood lymphomas also. So if in a child 100 lymphomas you will see 5% you can see the diffuse large B cell also. So although the age is 60 years, but 5% it constitutes the childhood lymphomas also. As the name indicates, go for the name. Diffuse means no follicles. There is diffuse arrangement of the cells. Okay, 1. Large cell, large B cell. It means it derived from the B cell. Okay, large cell is larger in size. Khalas. No follicles, diffusely growing, Bandar is smiling. And it is bigger in size. So, characterized by the large cell size. It is 4 to 5 times the size of a small lymphocyte. 4 to 5 times. How much bigger it is. And has several distinct nucleoli. Many nucleoli inside the nucleus. Diffuse pattern of growth. And you will find the CD markers. B cell markers you know. CD 19 and 20. These will be present here. So these are basically B cell markers. 19, 20, 22, 79A. All B cell markers. And you will find mutations in the BCL6 gene. Okay, remember 19, 20 and BCL6. And you can have, this is aggressive. How you say this is aggressive? Diffuse large B cell. Large. So large things are aggressive. I remember it like this. Diffuse large B cell. So aggressive. And patient can die if you do not treat it. Okay. And there are special subtypes which may be associated with the immunodeficiency or may be associated with the, they arise in the body cavities. So just names. So diffuse large B cell, you will find this. No follicles, diffusely arranged cells running throughout the lymph node. No differentiation between cortex and medulla. No follicles. So how you differentiate between cortex and medulla? Only if you find the whole lymph node, you can say outer portion is cortex, inner is medulla. Okay. So these are the big cells. You can find here. The things are not clear in this, but in your laptop, if you see, you will find nuclei also. You have to see clearly. These are the nuclei. 1, 2, 3. So multiple nuclei inside the nucleus. And don't confuse. This is a nucleus. It is surrounded by the cytoplasm. Then it becomes a whole cell. Just by seeing the nucleus, you should not say this is a cell. Okay. So this is a nucleus. It is surrounded by some cytoplasm. Nucleus surrounded by some cytoplasm. Okay. So diffuse large cell means diffusely growing, large size of the cell with multiple nuclei, and it is aggressive. Follicular lymphoma. Diffuse large cell, khalas, follicular means follicular lymphoma. What does it mean? It is formed of follicles. Very important. Follicular. It is not diffuse. So you will find the follicles. But what is the difference between the normal lymph node and follicular lymphoma then? You will find follicles here also, here also. So what is the difference? How you differentiate if you see it under the microscope? Very important.
Here's the number. Chairperson, sir.
The thing is the most common thing which will strike you. In normal lymph node, you will find follicles only in the cortex. Very good. But here follicular lymphoma, follicles throughout the lymph. Okay, follicles throughout the lymph. This is the most important thing. Rest of the things we will discuss in the lab. Okay, only in the the follicles will be present throughout the lymph node. If you see this is not normal. So usually affect the middle-aged people. Okay, nodular or follicular pattern. Then neoplastic cells will resemble the normal germinal center cells. What are the normal germinal center cells? In the normal germinal center cells, you will find two types of cells: centrocytic and centroblastic. We call it in pathology centrocytic and centroblastic. Go to the histology for that. I call it centrocytic and centroblastic. We have a different. Centrocytic basically because we have a pathological classification also. So we have DAP cell. I don't know about the previous things. This is the latest which I can tell you. Centrocytic, these are smaller cells with scant cytoplasm with indented nucleus. Okay. Centroblasts are somewhat larger cells. Okay. Both cells are present in the germinal center normally also. Centroblasts somewhat larger cells having multiple nuclei. Okay. So see, small cells with cleaved nucleus and scant cytoplasm, which are called small cleaved cell. In the working formulation, we said cleaved cells. So these are basically centrocytes. Clear? Larger cells with open nuclear chromatin and several nucleoli, which are called centroblasts. These have a modest amount of cytoplasm also. Then, if you go, you will find the markers like 19, 20 and 10 positive. Here you will find BCL2 positive. Okay. 19, 20, they are also positive in the diffuse large B cell. Here also positive. It has in addition 10 positive. That is BCL6 positive. It is predominantly BCL2 positive. Okay. But there is one translocation which is very common to this. Translocation between 14 and 18 chromosomes. Translocation between 14 and 18. This is very important. And patients present with generalized lymphadenopathy. Inguinal may be involved, cervical, axillary, many lymph node areas will be involved. This is most of the times incurable, but is a slowly progressing disease. Incurable, waxing and waning, waxing and waning. Sometimes you will see the patient in a very fine condition, sometimes he will be bad. So waxing, waning, long duration course. Okay, good to have this lymphoma. Although not treatable, but waxing, waning course. And one of the important thing is depending upon which type is more prominent here? You call it follicular small cleaved cell lymphoma or follicular large cleaved cell, large cell. Okay, small cleaved cell or large cell, or you can call it follicular centrocytic, follicular centroblastic, or follicular mixed. Okay, like this. So this is the follicular lymphoma. This is the last lymphoma which we will discuss, inshallah. This you can find the follicles, yeah, running throughout the lymph nodes, big, small, and this. These are the centrocytes, small cells, and the bigger cells. This one, opened up chromatin. These are all centroblasts. So two populations, centrocytes and centroblasts, which you will find in this lymphoma. Rest we can discuss, I think, because we have the next class is there.
How many slides?
3 pages. You can.
One,
Let's finish.
three, not more. You have something?
Islamic
Islamic.
No.
He will come.
واحد ما يجي غير الغرفة.
خلينا نفتح بقى.
Mudarris EG or Ma EG? EG. Okay, small lymphocytic. We'll see how much we can finish. So you want to save the time at the end? Clever people. Huh? Saving time for the end. Dr. Farooq will again take these slides. So finish it now. But I will ask you at the end, all the diagnosis on the slide will be given by Naif and the other people. I will ask you how to differentiate. So come prepared. Otherwise, no attendance and some stick will be there. Small lymphocytic lymphoma. As the name, small lymphocytic. It means small lymphocytes you will find. So lymph node is diffusely effaced. Again, diffuse arrangement. Okay? By small lymphocytes with condensed chromatin and scant cytoplasm. Okay? But here small lymphocytes, you can find some cells which are larger, which are called pro-lymphocytes. Okay? So with variable number of larger cells called pro-lymphocytes. Can you see? All small cells, but some of the cells larger. This is small cell, this is a larger. This is called pro-lymphocyte. This is also larger, pro-lymphocyte. So some of the cells which are larger, they are called pro-lymphocytes. They will have prominent nucleoli also. And sometimes these pro-lymphocytes you can find in groups. 4 or 5 pro-lymphocytes, this is called proliferation center. Okay? Proliferation center. So small lymphocytic lymphoma, if you take the lymph node biopsy, you will find diffuse arrangement of the small cells. Small cells diffusely arranged. Okay? In between you will find some larger cells which are called pro-lymphocytes. They can have in the form of proliferation centers, again 19-20 positive, the CD markers. Okay? So don't tell me how you will differentiate between the CD marker is positive in 19-20, also positive in diffuse large B cell, here also. Size of the cell, small cell, they are large cell, isn't it? Follicular, you have the follicles. So morphology also you have to take into account. Here lymphadenopathy and hepatosplenomegaly is very common. Very, very common. This is the counterpart for chronic lymphocytic leukemia in the blood. You have the chronic lymphocytic, small lymphocytes in the blood also. That is the chronic lymphocytic. If you find that in the lymph node, this is small lymphocytic lymphoma. So counterparts, okay? In chronic lymphocytic leukemia also you will find hepatosplenomegaly. Very common. This is why we say in the leukemia patient why it is important to palpate the liver and the spleen, isn't it? So hepatosplenomegaly, there was clinical skills, but we didn't talk about hepatosplenomegaly. In the leukemia, if you go for the leukemias or anemias even, hepatosplenomegaly must be palpated. Without this, the examination is incomplete. You can just think about it. Leukemias, hepatosplenomegaly, how much? Anemias, many anemias, you have the hepatosplenomegaly. Because why in anemia hepatosplenomegaly? Yeah, extramedullary hepatitis. Good. So here, lymphadenopathy, hepatosplenomegaly, male predominance, age over 50 years. Okay. So this is the picture. You will find predominantly small cells. Then the Burkitt's lymphoma. It is more common in children and young adults. So this is in children as well as the young adults. What you will find here, intermediate sized lymphoid cells, 10 to 25 micrometer, having basophilic cytoplasm with coarse nucleus with coarse chromatin and several nucleoli. Here the important thing about the Burkitt lymphoma is high mitosis, high apoptosis. Two things are there. high mitosis as well as high apoptosis. Not only the cells are dividing, but they are dying also at the same time. More division, more mitosis, more apoptosis also. And when the cells are dying, tissue macrophages will be there because they have to clear the debris of the dead cells. So you will find many tissue macrophages which have ingested the nuclear debris of the dying cells. So it gives a starry sky appearance. If you see the lymph node, you see as if the stars are in the sky. The person is dying, but you are enjoying. Huh? Starry sky appearance. So you have many types here. One is endemic. Endemic is almost always associated with EBV infection. Endemic. It is more common, most common in the African countries. EBV infection is more common. So they have in the childhood, during the childhood, they have Burkitt lymphoma. Okay. So endemic more commonly associated in the African countries with EBV infection. Sporadic can occur anywhere, and some are associated with the HIV. So this is the division: endemic, sporadic, and HIV. Mostly these are. So which is a lymphoma which is mostly present in the extranodal location? This is one of the types. So mostly it is present as the extranodal sites, but there are others also. Mandible and abdominal viscera is the most common location for this. So these are most common in the other sites, other than the lymph nodes. Here also CD19, 20 positive. There are B cell markers, but this translocation is peculiar to it. 8, 14. Translocation between the 8 and 14. All the endemic tumors infected with EBV, and this is a very aggressive tumor. All the aggressive tumors, they respond to chemotherapy. Why? Yeah. So the thing is that the tumors which are very actively dividing, chemotherapy only acts on the dividing cells. It doesn't act on the normal cells. Mostly acts on the dividing cells. That is why you have skin changes in these patients. You have diarrhea, gastrointestinal changes. Why? Because mucosa is dividing, isn't it? That is why chemotherapy acts on this. Bone marrow is dividing, forming blood. So chemotherapy acts on these cells. It acts on the cancer cells and the dividing cells, normal dividing cells. So, because this is very aggressive, fast dividing. Why fast dividing? Mitosis, apoptosis is there. So, it responds very well to chemotherapy, and many patients can get completely cured on chemotherapy also. I will show you the diagram. So, it is affecting the mandible of this child, African child. Okay, mandible is affected. Here, you see. This is the sky having the stars, starry sky appearance. This starry sky appearance is due to the macrophages. These are all macrophages which have ingested material, cat dying. So if you see high power, these stars. So this is a macrophage which is ingesting the nuclear debris. So this is the Burkitt's lymphoma. I think we should stop here. These slides.
2 slides remain only. 2 slides.
Sometimes you say, doctor, it's getting late. Sometimes you say, no, finish it. Okay. Mantle cell lymphoma. I have no problem.
Because you said we will discuss only follicular and first one.
No. I said the common ones. Only follicular. Oh. If you go by your objectives, you will become mad. So how I have adjusted the lecture, I sent it to the female counterpart. So she sent it back to me. She is a new one. She sent it back to me. Dr. Farooq, add this slide here, this slide here, this slide here. No, I cannot ignore also. She is also a professor. But the thing is there, I have been here from last 3 years, so I know the students also. So what I did, I sent it back. I added some slides, no doubt. Whatever suggestions, most of the suggestions I added in the lecture. But I write a note at the end, ma'am. Actually, I have also too many things to add, which are in my mind, which I want to add. But the thing is that we have to go to the level of the students. So I go to the level of the students and frame my lecture accordingly. So tomorrow I will send him again the lecture. She will say again, some of the lectures I only have in the PDF format. So how I will correct them. So it becomes difficult, isn't it? So this was present in the PowerPoint also, so I corrected it. But the thing is there, how much you will add. I know you people people also how much you should know. But we are bound by your curriculum. Mind you, if I am, there, I will delete many of the objectives from there. Sincerely speaking, between me and you, I will delete many of the things because many of the things are only for the PG who have to do the post-graduation technology. It increases the burden, There should be some curriculum committee which functions, every 3 months, 6 months, and at the end of the year there should be revision of the objectives. But nothing is occurring here regarding that. But inshallah, we hope in the future it will happen. So mantle cell lymphoma arises from the mantle lymphocytes, which are surrounding the germinal centers. Okay, 3 to 4% of the non-Hodgkin seen mainly in the older males. Here you can find nodular or diffuse pattern. Both the patterns can be seen. Here again, they are composed of small lymphocytes. Okay, small lymphocytes with round, irregular nuclear contours. Now, how you will differentiate between mantle cell lymphoma and the small lymphocytic lymphoma? CD5, very important. So here they are CD5 positive, 19 and 20 also positive. They are also 19, 20, but they are CD5 negative. So this is the differentiation between the two. And also here you will find 11, 14 chromosomal translocation, and this has a poor prognosis. Okay? This is the picture, and you will morphologically you will not find the proliferation centers, the prolymphocytes. In the small lymphocytic lymphoma, you find the prolymphocyte. Here, no prolymphocyte and CD5 positive. That is CD5 negative. This is the differentiation between the two. Very important. Maltomas.
You could put hepatomegaly as being
Hepatomegaly, splenomegaly more associated with that. But they can be also seen in spleen, particularly the spleen only, in the nodes only, in the GIT tract only. So maltoma, these are mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. Malt. Mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. And if ova means the neoplastic proliferation arising from these. You have mucosa associated lymphoid tissue throughout the GIT tract, isn't it?
Yes.
So if this becomes activated in the spleen, in the GIT tract, there is something wrong with this tissue. It can become activated and lead to the formation. Mucosa associated only in the GIT. Mucosa, okay? So marginal zone B cell lymphoma also we call it, arise due to mucosal lymphoid activation by chronic inflammatory disorders of autoimmune or infectious etiology. I will tell you, don't worry. There is H. pylori infection, okay? This H. pylori infection, how it will be controlled? It will be controlled by the lymphoid cells which are present in the GIT, okay? So these lymphoid cells, once they come in contact with the H. pylori, they divide. There is polyclonal. Normally whatever the proliferation is, this is polyclonal. Monoclonal means only in the malignancy, okay? So there is more polyclonal proliferation of the cells, okay? All the cells are dividing. So what happens now? Some of the cells are damaged. More divisions are there, damaged. More divisions, more damage. More divisions, more mutations. Sometimes the mutations get repaired, sometimes they cannot be repaired. So once a cell is there where the mutation cannot be repaired, it becomes malignant. So now all the cells will arise from this. This is the monoclonal, derived from a single cell. Okay? So first of all, there will be polyclonal B cell hyperplasia, but eventually there will be emergence of a monoclonal B cell neoplasm from this polyclonal. Okay? Some of the cells, because there is a capacity for dividing. More divisions are there. Every time a division is occurring, there is some damage to the DNA. But this is repaired. This is not carried on. Okay? But if it is carried on, this is mutation. Got it? Damaged DNA carried to the next cell is mutation. So H. pylori associated gastric malt lymphoma. If you have lymphomas in the GIT tract, they may be due to H. pylori infection. But the important thing here is 50% of the gastric lymphomas will regress if you give the antibiotic therapy on. So this is one type of neoplasia which responds to antibiotics. Okay, 50%. They regress. They get cured. But if there is translocation 11, 18, which will occur with time, so it will not respond to antibiotic therapy. Okay? So these are CD5 and 10 negative, which helps to differentiate from the mantle lymphoma. Okay, 5, 10 negative, and there is 11, 18 translocation in this. CD19, 20, 22 positive. Okay? This is how you differentiate between them. And maltomas show lymphoepithelial lesions because this is the epithelium. Okay, these are the glands. All the lymphocytes come here. Some of the lymphocytes they damage the glands. Walaikum assalam. Lymphoepithelium. Good morning, sir. Fine, alhamdulillah, sir. Please, sir.
Now?
Yeah, yeah, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Walaikum assalam.
Yeah.